They repaired my jungle. It's nice, it sounds better. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, entitled Dhyana Yoga. And we are supposed to do commentaries today, no? And nobody's there to read. Who is there to read the commentary? Yeah? Yeah, call Asurajan. I'm supposed to be here. Okay, so anybody knows what we discussed last time? Yes?
About illusion, like don't be illusion being always be dependent Maya. Don't be
an illusion. Well, that's everything is Maya. Not everything is Maya. Something is Maya, something is Krishna conscious. But mostly we are in Maya. Okay, what specifically did we discuss? You have something? Yeah.
Either there is famous people or person, they are also suffering in their own.
Okay.
Don't be dependent on them so you are happy.
Okay, we talked about dependence on others whom we idolize, but they're not perfect. And then when they are imperfect, then naturally we also become affected and we experience the same imperfections and therefore we suffer. So this is why spiritual life is trying to make us qualified, trying to make us not being dependent on other dependent living beings. Yeah? So you can just, of course, there's no absolute dependence, you're always dependent on someone, so better to be dependent on Krishna. Yeah? Because he's the most perfect, he's the source of everything, he's really what we are looking for. So why not being dependent on him? Because if you're dependent on anybody else, you'll be disappointed. Eventually, inevitably. We're disappointed. And then you also won't grow, you also won't advance. You'll be just heavily confined to some particular conditioning. So that's not a good idea. So that's why spiritual life tries to make us more conscious, more elevated, more advanced. So this is why we try to understand what is the purpose of spiritual practice. Okay, what else?
The issue of happiness and distress is very adverse in material. For little happiness, one has to endure a lot of pain.
Okay, we talked about happiness that we achieve. So that happiness is very meager happiness. There's actually no happiness. It said that what we consider happiness in this world is just a cessation of suffering. So when we don't suffer, we think, oh, I'm happy now. That's the state of so-called happiness of material existence. So the essence of discussion was endeavor that we make trying to achieve some material goals and endeavor that we make in spiritual pursuit. So they said that better to spiritually do anything, trying to advance or whatever, because that's never lost. But if you do material efforts, if you make material efforts, that's it. You might get some result and that's it. It's over. There's no further gain. And even that will not satisfy, that will also make you disappointed, frustrated. So that's why everyone has that kind of a fear that if I start something, will I get any gain out of this? No? We said material, you start some company or you start some business, let's say you invest something and you don't get it back. No, that's pretty heavy. I know many cases, also recently I heard somebody made so many different investments. Swaha, finished, gone, useless. They've been cheated actually. So nobody likes to invest in such kind of ends. But this is what material life is. You can't avoid it. Whatever you're investing materially, you're investing in this body. You're putting so much effort to make this body fit, and so many things. What's the use? To make this body look nice, to make this body attractive, to make this body. Body is a body. Body means, it's a trouble. It's a matter. Matter, you can't control the matter. It's always in a constant state of flux. You can never control the matter. It can just get worse. People try to go for plastic surgeries, this, that, so many things they do. So much suffering, so much mental suffering because you're focused on the body, which is source of misery. That's what I said. Body is the source of misery. It's matter. They have expression in the West. What's the matter? That means what's the problem? So matter is a problem. Matter is a problem. Body is a problem. So anything you invest there, it's no use unless you really use that body for Krishna service. In that sense, okay, then you can utilize it. But if you're using for sense gratification, like people try to extract so many fluids from the body and so many things, they think this is happiness of life. It's all useless. It's futile. That's very miserable condition. So body is not gonna, it never did, never will, neither it's at any point deliver any kind of satisfaction. Compared to the misery that one experiences, again, the ratio of suffering and happiness, you can understand, it's not worth it. So that's what we discussed. What kind of endeavor? So Arjuna was asking, what if I start spiritual life? I start chanting, I start this and I start that. Then what is my position then? Is there any use of it? And then the answer was Krishna answered, and Krishna will answer. Krishna will answer next time we're going to discuss that. That in essence I'm just going to present that answer that there's no loss. So whatever we do, that's on our eternal credit. Eternal meaning as long as that's required, as long as we are conditioned, that spiritual endeavor will not be lost. So when we consider material efforts which are lost and spiritual efforts which are not lost, what is better to do? What is better to endeavor for? Spiritual. So then that's what you have to do. If you have any understanding, hopefully by being exposed to this information, then better we endeavor spiritual. Why wasting time doing so many material efforts? Which will, as I said, all the castles by the sea will melt away eventually. There's one famous singer. I had some realization. Eventually everything will melt away. So that's what spiritual endeavor has to be undertaken. It's better to, and you get everything, whatever you need. Get your own sustenance, you get your desires fulfilled, you get everything. You just follow this spiritual process. Then nothing is lost. Nothing is lost. Whereas materially, whatever you start, you can't hold to it. Will never last. So better to endeavor on the material plane. Okay, anything else? Any other points we missed? Yeah.
The story of the Yuga and his mixes.
Okay, the story of Kali Yuga was there last time. Okay, the story of Kali Yuga, that's what Kali does. It makes us procrastinate, waste time, not being engaged in Krishna service, and we waste this opportunity. We become distracted by illusory energy, by Maya. That's the illusion. Maya cheats us thinking that I will be happy if I can exploit material energy in this way or that way. That's illusion. And you're so, worked out, you're so psyched up, you're so excited, and you think, yes, this girl will make me happy, or this will make me happy, this. And then at the end, it's just such a disappointment, frustration, So that's illusion. That's illusion. That's what it's called Maya. So we get cheat. We allow ourselves. We cheat ourselves actually. So material energy is us facilitating. It's not material energy's fault. It's our idiocy. It's our ignorance. Maya is just facilitating. Okay, that's what you want. Well, it's not possible, but okay, since you're so adamant, you're really insisting. Okay, we'll make such kind of arrangement. What can be done? Maya is always asking, are you sure you want some substance or you want some shadow? What do you want? Okay, you don't want Krishna, so then you want to play with some shadows. Okay, here it is. Plenty of it. Plenty forms and shapes and smells and touches and this and that, it's plenty. Bahushaka hirantascha, just like a banyan tree. You don't know where it's beginning, where it's end, and it can extend unlimited. You not find, trace anything. So that's material energy. It's offering that kind of illusion where you can get lost and then never remember Krishna. But since we do some spiritual credit, we make some spiritual credit. What did we say? How do we know that we never lose spiritual credit? What did we say about it? How do we know that spiritual credit we did, it's always there? How do we know? What's the proof? What's the evidence? Somebody may challenge. We discussed it. How do we know that? Nobody remembers. It's very bad. Okay.
if taking the vision that this would
Yeah, we say from previous life, people take to something and they become very, very good at it. They become very advanced in certain practices. It doesn't have to be spiritual life. It can be anything. They're immediately very good from beginning, and somebody takes a long, long, long time to come to that level. So where does that come from? It's not just, by chance. It comes from previous life. Somebody being exposed to spiritual life immediately, becomes attracted, takes to it, and somebody takes more time. So that means it depends where you stopped last. That's where you start again from that point. Okay, any other points we discussed? Yes.
Last year you wrote about two destinations.
You came late. We already discussed.
Everyone is paying tax for independence.
And yes, what?
Everyone is paying tax for independence.
Everybody's paying tax for independence. Yeah, you have to pay. You want. And you're still not independent because you're paying for it. So where's the question of independence? Oh. Okay. So should we do commentaries or what? We didn't do commentaries. I mean, I can keep on going with it, but we have to hear commentaries. This is the part of this class. We hear what the other acharyas have to say. Chalo Suraj, bring the chair. You have to do two. Yeah.
अरे इन्होंने स्क्रीनशॉट कमेंट डिस्कस किया मैं ये मेरे मोबाइल में
Give me mic.
37 137
So this is commentary on text 6.37, chapter 6, verse number 37. So commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this shloka actually, first we'll read the translation by Srila Prabhuji. Or directly we can start. So in this, the translation will read first of Srila Prabhupada. So Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist, who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later resists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? Now, commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. You have said that yoga can be attained by a person who endeavors through practice and detachment. What happens to the person who does not endeavor, who does not practice, and does not have detachment? He puts in only a little effort. He starts the practice of yoga with faith in the yoga scriptures and is therefore not an impostor, but he deviates from yoga, for his mind turns to objects of enjoyment because of lack of practice and detachment. He does not attain complete perfection, but he has attained some results, since he has begun the stage of practice and after the stage of aspiring for yoga. So in this commentary, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually highlighting that, let's say someone who starts this practice, but over the period of time, he's not continuing it. He has just started it. So what will be his outcome? So if we look in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is, pastime of Bharat Maharaj, like how he first starts the practice, goes to the forest. Later on, he becomes attached to a deer, and then later on, because of that attachment, he takes on the body of the deer, suffers, for that whole thing. Then again, his actual progress in bhakti starts from the stage where he left. Later on, when again he takes birth as Jad Bharat, then he finally reaches the perfection. So that is one pastime from which we can understand. And also another is the devotees, in Srila Prabhupada, one of his interviews, I do not remember the exact date, but then Shyam Sundar Prabhu, one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they were near the Ganga. So then Prabhupada was actually looking at them, and he asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, you say that everyone is a resident of Vrindavan, and later, when he falls down, so he becomes something or another. So can you tell us what we were in our previous birth? So there were some Babas there, who were smoking. And then Prabhupada said, you all like these here in Vrindavan, but later on you all took birth in the West as hippies. Then again I came and took you all and I've taken you all back to Vrindavan. So even that is one of the pastimes also. So this is one comment. Another one? What one should I? This is what I was able to record from this Krishna Consciousness. This is mentioned in Chasing the Rhinos.
Which one?
First one, because I've not read second. First part.
Okay, next one.
So this one is of Srila Ramanujacharya. So here this commentary is from 6.37 to 39, wherein Arjuna said, what way does he go who has embarked on yoga, endowed with faith, but who by inadequacy of exertion and practice does not gain success in yoga and has his mind wandering from yoga? Does he not perish like a small piece of cloud torn from a large mass of cloud, perish without reaching another large mass of cloud? Now, does he not fall away from both? He has no support and is confused on the path leading to the Brahman. He is without any support in the sense that karma or rituals which constitutes the means of heaven, etc., does not give support for a person who is devoid of attachment to fruits. For karma is the means for generating its own fruits. He is also confused in the path leading to the Brahman on which he has just begun to traverse. He has lost his way. Does he then get lost by falling down from both sides? These being attainment of heaven on the one hand and liberation on the other. Does he not thus perish? You should remove this doubt altogether from your mind, for there is no other remover of this doubt than you, who always perceive directly all matter simultaneously. So this is actually summary of the questions asked by Arjuna in these three verses, 37, 38 and 39, wherein he is asking Krishna to clear the doubts, what will happen to that particular yogi who has actually started but he doesn't finish it. So this is actually, what should I say on this? These are just questions. So here in this particular thing, the example of cloud, that analogy is really, you can say, this is practical. Sometimes, if you all would have had time to look at the sky, sometimes we see there's a large mass of cloud, small cloud just drifts away. And then
Sometimes there is elephant.
elephant. So when we see that cloud drifting away, what we see is eventually if it gets another big cloud that gets in contact with them, then it will be able to go in that mass. But if not, what we'll see, it will just perish. हवा में अपने आप गायब हो जाए. तो सिमिलरली उसी एनालॉजी को देते हुए कि कोई व्यक्ति यदि प्रयास करता है तो अब उसने भक्ति के पथ पे तो आ गया, तो कर्मकांड से ऊपर आ चुका है. But then again, what happens is now he becomes lost in that particular thing. So now neither he is having heaven or neither he is going to do pure devotional service, because he himself is confused that the path of Brahman which I am chasing, whether it's right or not. So this usually happens when we start devotional service. in the initial days we might feel there is so much joy and everything, but the moment we are asked to serve, Prabhuji, please can you serve something? Then the trouble is that the prasadam will get over. Will I get or not? I can serve, no problem serving. Sometimes, there is this hesitancy, and it goes on over the period of time. Devotees mature. So, even in this contest, Arjuna is asking for the higher purpose. What will happen? There's this one pastime, which is actually in the story section of Srila Prabhupada, about a Brahmana. So, there was this one person with whom the Brahmana used to meet daily, right? So, he just used to ask, how are you, and like this. And then one day what happened is, the Brahmana, he was really thirsty, he was coming from somewhere. And he just looked at that particular person, he found him and he asked him, can you please give me, some water? So he told, but I don't have much. Do you really want to take it from him? He said, anyhow, just give it to me. So he gives the water back. And when he gives the water, this person drinks it, but his thirst is not quenched. And then later on, what comes in the light is that particular person turns out to be, of someone of a lower caste. So actually, when you take something, it's an kind of seen as you have broken some vows. It's not good for a person. So now he is out of caste also, and his thirst is also not quenched. So similar, this is an analogy. It's similar. It's not the same. Similarly, a person who may think that I've started this process, but there are so many other things that also need my attention. I need to go outside. I need to do things, and वो सारी चीजें तो करना जरूरी है. Bhakti is all good, but I want to take it. So there is something known as main diet and staple diet. So what we do is we kind of focus on these things and we miss the main diet. What is really important. And later on, what we say that there's nothing kept in bhakti. I should have focused from the right very start. I took a wrong decision. So this is actually in the question format what Arjuna asked. This is
How to take right decision.
When we are doing anything practically, we should be under the guidance of someone.
Yes, you should have knowledge. There's one funny story in Mahabharata. There's one sage, and it was Kutanka or something. I can't remember details because the story is so shocking that keep on sitting. So the story says that he asked Krishna for some blessings. And then Krishna says, he was embarked and going towards Hastinapur. And says, sure, definitely, all it will be fulfilled. And then he was passing through Rajasthani desert a little bit, something he went up through, and he felt very thirsty. Very, very thirsty. And then he was like praying, oh, let me have some water, like he said, got some water to drink. Have some water. And then appeared some Chandala in the desert. And he asked, do you have any water? He said, no, but I just feel like I want to pass urine now, so you can have that. And then this sage got so happy. What is this? What is this? And then he came to Hastinapur, and then he told all of this. And then he was blaming Krishna that what is this? I asked for so many things, I just got trouble. This. And then it was revealed that actually that Chandala, that was Indra. And Indra was ready to give him, heavenly nectar. But because this fellow couldn't recognize and didn't follow, and whatever, there was some instructions that he was supposed to do, so he couldn't. So he didn't do that, and he didn't have understanding of what is going on. So he missed the nectar. Anyway, we'll make it. What else?
A few more commentaries.
Hey, who's going to do it? Oh, who's ready? Rati, you want to do one? Nakasha, do you want to do? You don't even have tilak, When did you put tilak last time? But that's who you are then, Yeah, it's very bad. Every day, why not put in tilak every day?
I had one somebody.
Just who cares where you put? What's that matter? Every day you put tilak, light or whatever. Something. You put what? Bindi.
Reading the commentary of Sri Madhvacharya. The word ayati means one who does not earnestly endeavor. Now begins the summation. The special meaning Lord Krishna is giving is denoted by the word ayati, or one who does not endeavor by the regulative practice of meditation, or contrarily, one who abstains from the practice of meditation. That was already begun. The word aprapya yoga siddhim means without achieving the complete potential of yoga, or the science of the individual consciousness, attaining communion with ultimate consciousness. Although for the word yoga there is the established meaning, perfectionist meditation is the inferred meaning here. Thus, failure in perfecting meditation is not contradictory. So here Madhvacharya said that the word ayati means one who does not endeavor earnestly. So also Srila Prabhupada writes that in the meaning word to word meaning that the ayati word means the unsuccessful yogi. And also then Madhvacharya writes that one who does not endeavor by the regulative practice of meditation seriously. So it is very necessary to become serious in spiritual life. Otherwise, there is every chance that we may fall down, or we may leave the spiritual path, because Maya is so strong. Because Prabhupada also write in the purport that therefore, despite constant endeavor, one may fail for many reasons. First of all, one may not be sufficiently serious about following the process. To pursue the transcendental path is more or less to declare war on the illusory energy. So Prabhupada write that when we take to the spiritual part, that is like the war against the illusory energy. And Prabhuji gave the example while discussing this point that we are in the jail, and if we escape from the jail, then the jailer will become a little bit serious and try to bind us more and more. So Maya also tries us to keep in this jail. That's what we have to become serious, and we have to become attentive in executing the spiritual practice. Just like we can take the analogy of what we say, ocean. In ocean, there is a waves coming from this direction, and we are swimming in the opposite direction of that waves. So if we pause for a second or for a meanwhile, then the waves will toss us back. So similarly, when we are practicing spiritual life, we should be constantly practice, and not like I've chanted today 16 round, tomorrow I will not chant, or I have visited temple today, so why to go tomorrow? So not like that. We have to become serious and be constantly disciplined to practice this process. And in the second line, Madhvacharya writes that or contrarily, one who abstains from the practice of meditation, that was already begun. So it happens with the devotees when we practice spiritual life for some time or for little bit. So we have some enthusiasm, as Suraj also mentioned. And after that, somebody says that to serve something, so we get agitated. Oh, how can I do this? So we should not think like that. Just like a patient, when patient is affected with certain disease, so when it start to take some medicine, so he becomes is getting healed or is getting cure of that disease. But after some time, why should I take medicine for that? I have become cure. So if he does not take the medicine, then the disease will come back. So similarly, we should not stop for one day also. We have to practice seriously the spiritual part. We should chant every day 16 rounds, as Srila Prabhupada has given. And Prabhupada also said that if we don't chant 16 rounds, that is the biggest condition of spiritual life. Yesterday that was said in the Japa group. So that is very important. And I was reading that Gundicha Marjan pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there in one purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned sometimes yogis and jnanis in the beginning take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a way to begin their various practice. But when they falsely think that they have attained release from the bondage of material existence, they give up chanting. So we should not give up the chanting, and there is the pastime of Haridas Thakur. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that you are now perfected, you don't need to chant. So Haridas Thakur told him, now I will chant, and he continued to chant his number of rounds, 192 rounds. So that is. Hare Krishna.
Anybody has any question, comments on it? No? Everybody understood what's going on here?
How can I always motivated?
They're coming on time. You hear what's going on, then you'll absorb, then you'll know how to apply. He'll tell you later.
Later.
Okay.
We will really surrender unto me.
Huh?
There is a commentary of surrender unto me that.
Okay, finally, after 10 months.
Hare Krishna. So I will be reading the last commentary, that is surrender unto me.
Oh, there's no Kesha Kashmir?
Okay, so I will be reading the Kesha Kashmiri.
So, but why did you said only see Kesha Kashmir?
Especially commentary of Ashwagandha is not.
So what? What if he's not there? So that means we can read commentary. Which other commentaries?
Because I assigned him the commentary of surrender unto me.
That's in Mary. Oh, okay.
So I will be reading the commentary of Kesha Kashmiri. Now the question arises, what happens to a particular practitioner of yoga or the science of the individual consciousness attaining communion with the ultimate consciousness who becomes established in yoga with firm faith experiencing some realizations but later in life due to negligence and lethargy in their practices fail to achieve perfection in yoga? This could also be due to being unable to control the mind and thus incapable of controlling the senses with their passions. Such an aspirant, although practicing and endowed with faith, does not have by the potency to maintain the process, and therefore the mind is diverted into pursuing the objects of the senses, and thus deviated from the yoga at the crucial time of death. What will such a person destination be who, like this, fails to reach the goal of moksha or liberation after commencing the yoga in life? This is the question being beseeched for Lord Krishna to answer. So, Kesha Kashmiri comments here that who the practitioner of yoga, that is mentioned, the word here, the practitioner of yoga means, the word yoga means, it comes from the Sanskrit word yuja. Yuja dhatu means to unite the spirit, body, and the soul. So to unite oneself with the higher being, you can say, that is Krishna. That is not very easy, but we have to do that because Krishna is the ultimate goal of our life, Krishna consciousness. So to follow Krishna consciousness, we have to do certain kind of controlling of the senses. The word is given here, but the controlling of senses will be done only after we follow the particular rules which are given in scriptures. And the most easiest way to control our senses is to connect with the name of the God. That is chanting the holy name of the God, of the Lord. That is Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and following the four regulative principles. These are the basic things which we have to follow. Then there are some higher things also, but these are the basic things. So Kesha Kashmiri also mentions that mind is diverted into pursuing the objects of senses. So mind is topmost organ which you can say, which is easily diverted. But in Gita also it is said that if mind is controlled, then it becomes our best friend. If not controlled, then it becomes like a shaitan's child, you can say. A child doesn't behave. Whatever we say to him doesn't behave. So that is the thing is given in this particular purport. So do you have any comments or questions? I'm not eligible to answer, but
The question is that you mentioned in the, like while you are explaining, what the word yoga means, right? So you said the goal is to unite this spirit soul with Krishna. So what does that union means, or can you please elaborate on that union?
Union means to do service of Krishna in the spiritual world. That is the union in the simple words.
Serve Krishna.
To serve Krishna.
because
because in the Mahamantra also, the meaning of Mahamantra is, Oh Srimati Radharani Krishna, please engage me in your service. So what is the engagement? Engagement is to unite with the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
I mean, actually it sounds more like the Brahman feature. The living entity becomes one with the God. That is why I got a bit of confusion.
That is also one angle is there.
That is what we wanted to say. So by that
But for Vaishnavism, we take it in that way. To unite means to go back to God.
Union in purpose.
Yes.
Purpose becomes one. Okay, so we've concluded. Who else is left? Huh? Okay, then two last part. Did we get anything now? How all these commentaries, what they're pointing towards? Anybody remembers? But how are you going to remember? Nobody's noting anything. Nobody ever brings any notes. And then next Thursday, when we ask, what do you remember from this class? Nothing. Why we don't make some notes? Something. I hope something should be interesting. Here. Some instruction, some point, something that we can utilize. If you don't know anything, what will you utilize it? You will not know what to utilize. You will have no impression. You will have no knowledge. How many times? Same thing I have to keep on, rolling over and over and over.
So, reading the commentary of Sridhar Swami, what is the destination of one who fails to achieve Atma Tattva, a realization of the soul, due to inability to cultivate this passion and practice of meditation? Where does one end up, who in the very beginning was endowed with firm faith and practice, but later, due to weakness of mind, cessation of practice, and attraction to sense gratification, was unable to achieve realization? This is the meaning of the question submitted to Lord Krishna. So, here Srila Swami explains, what does the question mean? Arjuna has asked so many questions to Krishna, and here he is explaining. So, the answer of this, or a similar example can be seen in Srimad Bhagavatam. If we look at the pastime of Ajamil. So, Ajamil, when he was a young Brahmana, he was under the guidance of his father and was practicing spiritual life. But later on, because he was not able to control his senses, he falls for so many tricks of Maya, getting illusioned day and night. And also, there are many things I won't be elaborating because it will be going too long. And another one was, we have been recently reading the pastime or the section of Puranjana. So that was also how he is actually bewildered by so many different elements. This is going to give me enjoyment, this is going to give me protection, or I'll be able to enjoy it so much more. And how all those attachment, the time factor there, and everything is being snatched away from him. And how does he suffer? And then later on, Narada Muni concludes that, who's that Puranjana? He is the soul or the living entity. So this is what. Any comments or questions?
Keshav
Krishna was the first one.
Surrender into me.
No, what did it? Which one? Huh? Okay, surrender to me. When are you going to surrender?
Surrender unto me. Arjuna now wants to, not to me, but to Krishna. But this is name of the commentary by His Grace Gurijan Prabhu. He has written this commentary on the
Summary
Bhagavad
of validated devotion.
Okay.
And Vishnu.
So Arjun now wants to know what happens to a person who does not succeed in this practice. Such a person may have faith in the authority of the yoga scriptures and with such faith engage in yoga practice. He is not trying to cheat, but somehow his mind deviates him before he attains success. Thus, he has made progress, but he dies before he reaches perfection. Arjuna clarifies his situation question in the next verse. So, because we are all like materially conditioned beings and we have our experience in this material world. Whatever we do, if we do not finish it, then we don't get the result. For example, if I'm preparing for some exam and I just miss by 1 mark, then next year if I reappear for the exam, I will have to again get those marks. Not that I will have to just gain 1 or 2 marks for passing. Similarly, for everything in this material world. So it applies like that. So Arjuna, coming from pretending like playing a role of a materially conditioned being, coming from that background, so he's also posing question like that, just like it happens in this material world. So similarly, does it happen for a spiritual practice also, that if I do not complete it, then I will be considered as a failure? So that is his mindset basically. So in asking this question, then later on, Krishna replies to this question, and we see this very famous verse, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvat Shantim Nigachyati Konteya Pratijani Name Bhakta Pradeshyati. That Arjuna, just know this, that my devotee never falls down, that my devotee never perishes. Because Arjuna gave this very dangerous example, like of a broken cloud. Sometimes a crowd, a small piece of crowd gets separated from the whole cloud. Then वो वाली situation in Hindi we have a saying, कहीं का भी नहीं रहा यार, तो ना घर का ना घाट का. So that kind of situation should not happen with me. If I practice spirituality and if I fail, then will that situation will happen to me also यार, ना घर का ना घाट का ना भौतिक संसार का ना आध्यात्मिक संसार, like that. So later on, Krishna clarifies it. Now, very important point in this is, here the attitude is also met. He is practicing spirituality sincerely, not that he is trying to cheat or he is pretending to spirituality. He was practicing Krishna consciousness in a very sincere way, not that externally he was making a show of practicing. So if he is sincere in his endeavors, then definitely, certainly, his endeavors will not perish, and eventually, even if he appears to fall down, then again Krishna will, somehow or other, by mercy of Krishna, he will come back on the path and he will start again. Just like we see just like Suraj Prabhu was giving example of many devotees, example in Bhagavatam, and we see here also in Krishna consciousness, some people carry their Krishna consciousness from previous births. Just like you people. Like when you came in contact with Krishna consciousness, something inspired you, and then you immediately you developed a relation, you related with everything. And there are people who come and they do not relate at all. They think here what they are chanting, Hare Krishna, I don't know God is there or not. But you people, when you came, you immediately connected with devotees. Why that happened? Because it might be possible that in your previous birth, you were practicing it and some other little bit you were lacking. That's why, just to complete that, you have come again and then you will finish it. So now we have to sincerely practice, just like it is said here. He is not trying to cheat, but somehow or other, by some material Maya's arrangement, he failed and he could not attain success. But he will again come to his path, and just like in Bhagavatam, there is a famous verse, Taktva sadharmam charnamujam hare bhajanna pakvo pate tato yadi yatra kvavadram abuddhamushyakim kovarta apto avastam swadharmata. That means if a person who has done very nicely, successfully his material duties, पढ़ाई अच्छे से किया, he's done his job, he has done his responsibilities, he's a good son, very nice, very nice. So Bhagavatam says, still he has not achieved anything. Still his endeavors are zero. But on the other hand, if he is practicing Krishna consciousness and he is failing, he is sleeping in chanting, and he's not able to read. When he's opening Bhagavad Gita, then he's feeling like, but still he's trying and he has failed again and again. Still he has gained everything. Still he's a winner. So like that, this is the mood. And yes, in the subsequent verses we will know Krishna's reaction to these questions also. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions you have? Online?
Questions are sign of intelligence.
I just need to know, like, as you have informed us, like, once a person starts in the path of spiritual and without achieving it, if he is dead, so in next Janam, as you had said, in next birth, he will be starting from the
Not from the beginning, from the place where he has left.
from where he is.
If you left it undead, you'll be.
Or even in this part also, maybe because of some reason some person leaves spirituality because of some reason. Then maybe if he starts, but then of course he should not be.
Now I am 24 years of old, and at this year my friend has informed me about this all Vedic literature and about Krishna consciousness. So why do I get to know these things so late after 22 or 23 years?
Yeah. I asked this question from a very big saint few years back. For me also same question, and he said just one statement: everything has its own time. So now you have to decode it. So for you, because maybe your intelligence is matured now and you are ready to take those things. Maybe it would have come 6 years before now, so you would have rejected it out. Now you are perfectly prepared, your consciousness is prepared, so you can take it now. So that's why Krishna has brought you at this time. So you can accept those things. So your consciousness is mature and prepared. Now you have come here. So now you should. Otherwise, after maybe 10 years, you will realize, "Arey, I went there and I cannot. Why I am at 34 years old? Now why I am taking now? I should have taken. Now you have got opportunity to take it. Any other? Thank you. ग्रंथराज भगवत गीता की श्रील प्रभुपाद की हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
Hare Krishna.